Welcome to another episode of High Proof Ashes. I am Jason JB Smoke, and over here I've got with me, of course,
I'm Duran. No cool nickname.
we're gonna get there one day.
Man, I'm telling you at this point, like it is what it is, right?
Like I was thinking about him today. Like I got to come up with a few just to throw at him.
Like it's like when I tell everybody when I introduce myself, it's like my name is Duran, like the group Duran Duran. You know what I'm saying? Like it's pretty hard to forget me once you got it.
We're gonna come up with something better.
All right, man. I don't know. My name is pretty awesome. I don't know about something better. But we might find something. But anyway,
Well, welcome to we have graduated to the big 1-0.
yeah, this
episode,
is 10, bro.
Episode 10, man.
Hey, give me some.
Huh? Right?
10.
Yes,
10.
man.
Episode 10.
So, little milestone for us, and thanks for coming with us on the journey.
Absolutely.
And, we'd like to bring you some new and exciting things, whether it be new and exciting to us or new and exciting to you. So today we're going to highlight the Perdomo 10th anniversary champagne.
Yep.
And, this is a really interesting cigar, I think. Just right from the outset, before you even get to the band, which is your thing, the cellophane on it, it's got this yellow.
It's almost gold.
Gold. I like that. Gold.
Yeah, very. Or wait, maybe it's more like the color of a champagne. Is that maybe?
Champagne's pretty clear.
Yeah, but
it's got a slight color to it, but
it's got a little color.
Yeah. But they definitely wanted to
stand out.
Yeah.
It's supposed to pop.
Like I don't know that I've ever seen another band another cello
like this.
That's like so. Colored.
I don't think so.
So this, pretty interesting.
Yeah.
But let's get this sucker opened here and
so we got two special bourbons today too, right?
Yeah, let's talk about those. So why don't you show us the one over here? I'm over by you.
So this one is pretty special, and as you can see, it took a pretty serious dent, man. Like
that's how good it is.
It's very good. Old Elk, which is one of the first bourbons, like when I really started enjoying bourbons and like not just drinking them to drink, like really learning the nuances of bourbon and what bourbon was about, and enjoying the indulgence of bourbon, right? So this one is the Old Elk. It is 7 to 8 years, I want to say, something like that. This is a store pick for one of our favorite folks here in town, Red Hot Liquors. This one comes in at 112 proof. And the cool thing about this is it is a very special bottle. Jason, you'll ultimately have to, zoom in,
get a picture. I've got it. I can put it up on the screen, yeah.
This bottle, all of the profit from this bottle is going to a very special cause. So as we've told you many times, we are board members of TNCABS, Tennessee Cigars and Bourbon Society. And this bottle goes to help a very near and dear friend of ours get a new power wheelchair.
Right.
So that's our first big thing that we're doing with our nonprofit organization. So this bottle is great for exactly that reason, but because it's also just a phenomenal bourbon, right?
It is really good.
So Old Elk is a wheated,
yeah,
great stuff. And this one does not have a label.
Yeah, so it's
in your decanter.
Yeah, this one's in my personal decanter because it was a bit pricey, and a friend of ours, Patrick, we both wanted it, but neither one of us wanted to pony up the money to buy the bottle ourselves.
Right.
So we said, you know what, we'll go in together on it and split the bottle. So I said, I have a decanter that I can pour the other half in, and give you the bottle. But I do have some pictures of the original bottle. I will put it up. So this is the Old Elk 2022 Infinity bottle.
Yes.
And they truly did an Infinity bottle.
Yes. They mixed quite a few different Old Elks.
So the key thing here, though, is that I think roughly 20% or so of this bottle is from the previous year Infinity bottle.
Right.
And so I'm assuming that they're going to hold back on some of this blend for the next year Infinity bottle.
And we'll get you the details for sure on what the Infinity actually is.
But it's a portion of the previous year, and then it's a significant portion of, I believe they're wheated, and then they've got some smaller percentages of a a 12 year and a 13 year, I believe.
Right.
I'm going to put it up on the screen so that you guys can actually see what that, that build looks like.
Yeah,
But
for sure. For sure.
It did not disappoint.
No. So
at all.
We've both already had both of these, so
Yeah.
we're talking from experience. And I enjoy both.
Mm-hmm.
I will tell you this: as great as the single barrel is, that Infinity,
it's
special.
It's so good.
It's special,
it's
right?
So good.
So for me, I'm gonna go ahead and cut my cigar. I'm gonna start with the single barrel Old Elk.
Yeah, I am too.
Because I want to finish up with the.
And what's the proof on it?
It's 112.
Okay, and I think this one's like 114 or 115.
I believe so.
They're
close.
Pretty close.
They're pretty close. So great bottles. So enjoy with us.
Let's get lit up here.
Yeah, man. I got a cut still, so
So it's slightly. I might be running low here. I didn't fill up my. That's why I got like 4 lighters.
Well, let's see if I got my stuff together today. If my lighter is going to work for me, because I'm horrible about forgetting to refill my lighters. There we go. So this is what I would say is on the light to medium side, right?
Yeah, mild to medium. Really good starter cigar. Something that I've talked about. Anytime I know that I'm going to be smoking quite a few, this is something that is a real go-to for me. And I think this size at retail runs about $10.
I believe so.
Yeah, they've got some smaller ones that are a little bit cheaper, some bigger ones a little bit more. But this is the Toro size. They don't call it a Toro; they call it a Epicure. I think is their name for a Toro.
I believe that sounds right. So this is one of the first Perdomos I started with. I had never had a Perdomo before. Walked into the lounge looking for something a little bit lighter on a day, and somebody introduced me to this, so enjoy it quite a bit. And of course, we'll go ahead and talk about the band just a little bit here.
Beautiful band, right?
Beautiful band. Like, this is just hard to beat, right? Like, it's a beautiful champagne. Well, it's not champagne, it's gold, right? That bottom portion is black with gold writing on it, and then the champagne is across the bottom there. But it looks like a very prestigious cigar, right? Like, really prestigious. It looks like it should be way more expensive than it is, because just on looks, you would think that this is a very expensive cigar because of the band on it. But traditional Perdomo look, because I'm pretty sure like most of their bands look like this, just different colors. So we did the Maduro recently, and it's a black band.
Right.
You recently smoked the Sun Grown.
Yes, I did.
And it's like a red band.
It is.
And that's a phenomenal cigar.
Dude, that was a great cigar.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm a fan of Sun Grown. I mean, I'm a fan of most cigars, really, but like Sun Growns, Sumatras, broadleaf.
Yeah.
Some of your like Indonesians, San Andreas.
Right.
Like these leaves that they don't tend to use very often. I don't know. They really give some really great nuance. And this one is from what I remember is it's a Connecticut.
Yes, of course.
Connecticut shade.
You can see that light wrapper on it. So that's what we're talking about when we talk about Connecticut.
Yeah. So I just remembered something. A lot of times we talk about our cuts, and I tried a cut over the weekend that I've never done before, and you can pretty much only do them with a torpedo.
What'd you do, a king?
And
or a crown?
I forget the name exactly. It's like Buck something or something. It's the guy who I guess made it.
Yeah, I don't even have a clue what you're talking about.
I don't know. I'd have to look it up again. I read about it in a cigar magazine. So you take the torpedo. It's a guillotine cut, right? So it's a straight cut, but you don't cut it straight. You cut it on a 45-degree angle.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and it's supposed to like direct the smoke.
Okay.
Like that was that's what I read.
Yeah, I do that accidentally all the time, right? Like not paying attention.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't really tell the difference.
No, I can't, because it's still a guillotine cut. It's just And so a lot of times, like we're talking at the lounge or something like that, and I'm cutting a cigar,
You're not really paying attention.
It'll get off just a little bit. Like
Right.
this one is pretty good, right? Like I got pretty straight on that one. But every once in a while, you'll tilt that thing when you're not paying attention and go ahead and snip it. And same difference. For me, it always feels the same. I don't feel like I got anything different from it, but I have seen what you're talking about.
Yeah. So I had been wanting to try it, and every time it feels like every time I do a torpedo, I would just forget. And it kind of came to me, over the weekend, and I tried it, and I was just like, there wasn't anything to it,
right?
I guess.
Right.
I don't know. So, but I mean, just a really good cigar.
Yeah.
But let's get our pours.
Yeah, man. So this weekend we had a pretty good time, right? Like, so this is right after Memorial Day. We're on.
And we're filming this.
We're filming this on a couple days after Memorial Day. So no, a day after Memorial Day. Excuse me. But we had a great weekend with some friends. Pool party, partaking in some bourbon and some cigars and just good fun. Hanging out with friends, doing what we do.
Yeah, it was a great time. We were kind of in the outskirts of town, on friends' properties, got several acres, so
we won't say his name on here so people don't know who we're talking about.
Yeah. But
I don't think he want us telling all about it. Appreciate you for having us.
Right. But I think the out of the whole thing, the part that I really enjoyed was there towards the end.
Yeah.
That we all were in a big
circle,
50-foot diameter circle. Around a big fire.
Yeah.
And it was making s'mores and smoking cigars, and it was a really great time.
It was, man. Like I definitely enjoyed myself. It's nothing better than smoking cigars and enjoying bourbon with friends, especially our tight knit group of friends is pretty special. So getting all of us together sometimes can be a task, but it was nice to do it outside of the lounge for once.
Yes, I agree. Right? I agree. But
so,
right. So let's I've been sniffing on it.
Yeah, it smells great. Like it really does.
One of the Old Elks that we really love is the double. Is it double wheated? I think is what they call it.
Yep.
And it's a 70% wheat, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And this one is like 96% wheat.
Yeah,
so it's a lot. Triple wheat, whatever you want to call it, and so but the double wheat, like, we love it.
Yeah.
But this one, it just feels like you just put one more notch above it.
Yeah.
Like,
so and the beauty of this is, like, you get all of that great wheated flavor, but this one is kind of sweet, right? So it's got a little bit of sweetness to it. And again, I don't do the I can't give you any specific flavors or anything.
Yeah, we don't
like
do that.
Average guys when it comes to bourbon, so we just know what we like and we don't like. I can tell you, I like the weedy taste. I love the sweetness. I love that at 112 proof, it doesn't drink. It doesn't hurt when it goes down, right?
Right.
Because I've had some at 112, 115 that it's like, oh my God, it's overbearing to drink. But this is phenomenal. Old Elk does a very good job of taking care of their clients with great products.
They do. And I feel like, and I think you're kind of the same. Between that 110 and 115 seems to be like our sweet spot.
Yeah.
So anytime I see a bourbon brand that I really enjoy and it's in that little bit of that range, it's like, oh, I'm gonna love this.
Right. Absolutely. I agree.
And what that means, of course, is the expectations are now pretty high. And so when you take that first sip, you're really wanting it to be great.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Especially, from a brand like Old Elk.
And that's the thing. I haven't had an Old Elk that I've been disappointed in, because, like I said, the very first one that I tried was just the regular Old Elk. It was very good. So I've enjoyed everything that they've put out. And again, we have tried a lot.
Yeah. Well, so there is one that
was okay.
We like it, but we don't like it for the price point.
Yeah.
So
Cigar.
The cigar.
Yeah, the cigar.
Not that it was bad.
It wasn't bad, but
But for the
There
price
were
that it
the
was,
price that it is, and there are just other cigar blends out there that
this is very true.
I enjoy more.
Yeah.
But not to say I think it's still a very good bourbon.
Mm-hmm.
It tastes great, right? But it's just for the price point and the flavor profile. There are a couple of other cigars out there that I prefer personally. But thoughts on the cigar so far?
I love that it starts out mild. You know, we
Mm-hmm.
say that it's mild to medium, but it starts out very much mild. But you know, I'm maybe an inch into it,
Yeah.
and it's already kind of shifted over to
Yeah.
that more
Closer to medium.
medium,
Yeah.
you know, kind of body. It's really nice to retro. It doesn't. There's no burn there. You
Mm-hmm.
just get a ton of flavor.
Mm-hmm.
Um, not overly anything flavor wise. You know, you can just tell it's just really good tobacco.
Yeah.
Very well made.
Classic Perdomo, right?
Yeah,
Well made, right?
the construction is really really great.
Smoke production is good.
Yeah, and you know, this shade wrapper is really hard for them to work with. It's super thin, super delicate. You know, it there's not much to it.
Right.
Like, I mean, if we were able to take this off, it's less than paper thin.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely. And that's the thing. This one is packed, right? Like this
mm-hmm.
is a
There's a lot of tobacco in there.
yeah. So this is what a like a 60.
No,
It's close.
it's probably a 6. Yeah, it's probably 6 by 56 or something like
Yeah, it's
that. Yeah,
close.
you know.
Right. So I mean, it's a pretty stout cigar as far as size goes, but like you said, pretty good flavor on it. It is for me what I considered a beginning stick, like you said. So, but it's always great to smoke.
Doesn't actually say the size on the cello. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't.
On average, these take about, I would say, somewhere between like an hour and a half to get through.
Yeah, depending on the size.
Yeah.
You know, and I think the champagnes come in like 4 or 5 different sizes.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, they very much cater to, you know, the various folks, because I want to say they've got like a 6 by 60. They've got a Churchill.
Yeah.
They've got something that's slightly smaller than a Robusto, I think. Most of their stuff is like that. But, you know, look, I think I like the aroma on this more than the flavor. Like,
yeah.
As crazy as that sounds.
No, it smells very
like,
good.
I don't know how many times that I've smelled it, but
you just keep going back.
Like, I just want to smell it. Like, and there's almost no ethanol to the aroma.
I think again, it's very pleasant all the way around. Like,
yeah.
I think it's very well made, right? Like,
mm-hmm.
I don't know what process Old Elk uses, but you know, they do a great job of every product that they put out. Like, even the one that we're not necessarily like huge fans of, it's still very good.
It's still very
right?
good. Yeah.
So it's one of those things.
I wish I could get one of those elk toppers.
Yeah.
Man, that would be so cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to find a picture of it and put it up on screen for you guys and see what I'm talking about. But they've got you know, this is like I don't think it actually is, but it's supposed to look like an elk horn.
Yeah.
Right. But they've actually got a topper that is like the head of an elk, you know, with the horns and everything, you know. And I want to say it's, I don't know, 3 or 4 inches tall or so. But they like to put it on their Instagram, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Old Elk does. But
it's good stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm about, you know, I guess I wouldn't say a third, but pretty good ways into the cigar. And as you can see, it's burning perfectly. I mean, like, that's pretty hard to beat when you look at it. Like, I mean,
you got a really good burn on yours.
Great.
Mine's a little uneven, but it happens.
Ash is really compacted. You know, going really well. Like I said, great smoke production. Really enjoy it. So, and as Jason said, you can normally find these in your local brick and mortar for around $10, somewhere in there. So at that price point, it's a really hard stick to beat. Perdomo is really a great stick at most of their price points.
Yeah, like, as a brand,
like they've got, like, they're really not super pricing. Expensive. So they've got a lot of cigars that you can get into in that lower end price range that doesn't break the bank, but is full of flavor. And they have a wide range of different things you can choose from. We've talked about the champagne, the sun grown, the Maduro, you know, and then they've got all kinds of things in between there, right? Different ages, and you know, so great brand to try out if you have not. And if you're, a seasoned smoker, you already know that.
And don't they have like a budget
I'm
line?
sure they do. I can't remember what it's called. I believe we talked about this on another episode.
The Fresco, right?
I think so.
Is that what it's called?
Maybe.
The Fresco?
Maybe.
I don't know. I don't know that I've had one of those.
Me neither. I know I haven't had one.
I don't think that I have, and maybe I need to try one.
Yeah, definitely a great cigar. Definitely a great cigar. Let's see, we're about halfway through, so we got to start getting through this glass of bourbon here to get to that infinity, because I am.
You look excited about the infinity, huh?
I'm super excited about the infinity, man.
Yeah. So the first time he tried it was out of this, so he didn't know what he was getting. I said, here, I need you to try something and tell me what you think. And I told him what it was afterwards. But so first time he had it was completely blind.
It was a blind tasting for sure.
And his eyes just got huge. He was just, whoa, what is this?
Yeah. And again, you can taste the wheat. Right, so I had an idea of what I thought it was, but the infinity never would have came to mind. Like, period, it just wouldn't have come to mind.
Right. Yeah, and the infinity is one that is typically not really allocated, but your stores they're only going to get like 1 or 2 bottles, so like they'll put it like behind the counter or in the case or whatever. And
at least that's how they do it in our area, right? Some of you guys might not even be dealing with allocated stuff.
Well, and when Rupin got this bottle, it was originally on the shelf.
Right.
Just right there on the shelf. Yeah. So, but he started, I guess, running out of room, needed to make room for other things.
Right. That makes sense.
So he put it, he put it up on, I don't know, it was up behind him or something, but. So we haven't talked price yet. The pick over here was
89,
80 something. Was it 89?
89, I believe.
Okay. This one here,
double.
Yeah, it's close to that.
Yeah.
So if I remember right, it was 160.
Yeah.
So not cheap.
No, not at all.
Which is why, and so of course, and he only had one, so we couldn't taste it.
But here's the thing: so, you normally don't spring for bottles that are that expensive.
No, I don't.
You split the cost on it.
I did.
So let me ask you this: after enjoying it, if you had it to do over again, would you have purchased one?
We both said that we would each purchase one.
Right.
And
it's
good. Yeah, it's that good. And so I told Patrick, like, hey, Rupin only had one, but this other store, they got 2 bottles.
Okay.
So yeah, I would, after tasting it, it's one of the few bottles over $100 that I would definitely buy.
Hey man, that's big for Jason. If you don't know, and not trying to call my boy cheap or nothing like that.
But we've said it before,
right. Like once you reach that $100 price point, it's got to be pretty much exceptional.
Everybody has a number.
Yes.
That once it goes past that number,
it's got to be
has to be exceptional.
Yeah, that's me.
And for me, it's $100.
Yep.
Which is it used to be like 60, but
again,
inflation.
Yeah.
And then all these picks that we've got. A lot of these picks are between $60 and $100.
Right. Absolutely.
So I kind of had to increase that limiter or whatever. But let's all
right, I'm gonna finish up here.
He may try to jip himself, but I'm gonna tell him he can get however much he wants. That's the point here, right? Is community.
I'm not gonna dent the $160 bottle, man.
I mean, I only got half of it anyway, so but it.
So when you originally seen the bottle, what was it that made you want to go out and try it?
I just, like you, I instantly became a fan of Old Elk. Like everything that I had tried, was just really good. I think the first thing that I had was their regular bourbon.
Okay.
And then I had their regular wheater because you had suggested it. And even though I didn't think of myself as a wheater fan, and I have learned since that that's totally not true. I'm definitely a wheat fan. And then I saw the double wheat and I said, well, I like the regular wheat. The double wheat's got to be even better. And boy, is it better. saw this one, and I said, you know, it's got to be good. It's got to be good. But this was probably, shoot, that's probably close to a year ago, man.
Yeah.
That I saw this bottle, and it just was like, man, that price though.
Right.
So I just couldn't spring for it, and me and Patrick, we just kept talking about it on and off, and eventually I said to him like, hey, what if we go and have these?
That makes sense.
That took all of 3 seconds for him to decide.
And y'all was on. Y'all was on.
That was it.
Listen, man, like, kind of disappointed in you that you didn't hit me with that, knowing how much I like Old Elk.
But I knew that he was looking at that bottle.
Yes.
And so he and I had talked about it several times.
Shout out to Gunny.
Yeah. There you go. Shout
out to Gunny. That's our guy, man, for sure.
So super glad that we did it. First and only time I've ever done that so far. So what do you think about it, man? Tell us about it.
It's impressive, man. Like, especially to be like, I want to say it's like 114, 115 proof.
Yeah,
like
114, yeah.
There is no, and when I say no bite, I mean nothing. Like, it is so extremely smooth and tasty. Like, it's one of the best weeded bottles I've ever had. And I don't say that lightly.
You know, I remember the first time he and I had this together. We both agreed. It's interesting on the back end. There's almost this floral kind of sweetness to it.
Kind of candy, like almost like candy.
Yeah. Boy, does it linger on the mouth,
dude. Pause. Got to get him at least once in the episode. But it's very viscous.
Pause.
Nah, that's not the same.
Okay.
Nope, not letting you get that one.
I don't get that one.
You said it lingers in the mouth.
Okay.
So,
all right. Okay. All right.
But, you know, I'm sure he will get me in sooner or later, right? Like, he got me at the lounge a couple of times.
I got you at the little Memorial Day thing.
You did.
I don't even remember what it was.
I don't either, but luckily it wasn't recorded.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't recorded.
It wasn't.
But this is phenomenal, man. Like, if you get a chance to go out, like, this is it, as he said it. I don't know if it's considered allocated everywhere, but it is a bottle that you can get, right? So
yeah,
it's just expensive.
It's not so much an allocated. It's just that, you know, the stores don't get a whole lot,
right?
And you know, I guess it's not a highly sought after bottle. I don't know.
So does Old Elk make a lot of it, or is it just they don't make a whole bunch? Or
I think it's probably a combination of the two, right? It's the fact that they don't make as much as some of these core things that they make, and then also the price point. Like, it's probably the most expensive bottle they have.
Okay.
You know, or at least one of the most, if not the most. You know, so I'm guessing it's one of these unknown bottles that just kind of gets sent to the store, and you know, they have to just kind of wait for somebody to
say, "Let me try it."
Yeah.
Well,
but now that I have, like, you can be sure I'm going to be buying next year's.
Yeah. So if you run into a store and they happen to have it, you should definitely try it, right?
Yeah, if you can spring.
Yeah, if you can afford it, right? So don't go into debt to buy a bottle of bourbon, please. And then we'll go with our next caveat: drink responsibly, right? Like, This is a bourbon and cigar podcast, you know. But please drink responsibly, right? Like, we're gonna drink lots of water. You know, we're gonna take our time. You only get us for 36 to 40 minutes, but we're gonna do this for the next several hours. So
That's right.
We've got plenty of time to recover and make sure that we're drinking responsibly. And then one more announcement: please like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you hit that little bell so you know when we drop new episodes. We appreciate you guys joining us and hanging out with us, but you know,
I'm definitely more consistent now.
Yeah.
You know, we've gotten to the point where we're dropping episodes every week. And
look for us on Sundays, I would think, right?
Yeah, Sunday mornings.
Sundays, if it's a hectic week, maybe on a Monday morning, something like that.
Maybe.
You know.
Maybe.
We're trying.
And you know, like we've said before, we've got some other themed episodes in the works. You know, we did a wine
We did a
tasting
whole wine day.
like the other day,
Yeah.
and boy, that was
I appreciate my brother, man, because he rolled out the red carpet for me and the wife. You know, he had like a hold on, let me make sure I say this right. Is it charcuterie board?
yeah, that's it.
Charcuterie board.
That's
You know
right.
what I'm saying? Like he had like 10 to 12 different wines. I'm not a wine guy, but I found out that I like Zinfandel.
That's right.
So actually, we had so last night for dinner, I made steak, shrimp, home cut fries. What else did we eat? Corn on the cob, and I poured me a glass of wine, and it was quite delicious.
Red wine with steak, man, that's where
I remember
at.
you saying that, like, hey, you should
Right.
try this with steak. So when we had steak last night, you
It's
know,
even better.
yeah,
Like they complement each other.
yeah, absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
and again, like, if I may say so myself, I held it down, you know, on the steak and the shrimp. Like, my wife had the shrimp and was like, wow, like, normally she only eats fried shrimp, so you know, I did it on the Blackstone.
Okay.
You know, so it was basically like a butter garlic shrimp.
Okay.
And you know, we knocked that down pretty quickly. Had the glass of wine. Was very happy. So
Very
yeah,
good.
we got some theme stuff coming. We've got wine. We've got beer.
Got beer.
Of course, we've got some guests coming.
We do.
So
We've
look
already
out
got
for
our
those.
got our first guest lined up. We
Yes.
just gotta arrange a date, right?
Well, I think we got a couple guests lined up. I know we got
That's true.
the Bourbon Commander.
But we want him to be first,
Yes,
right?
he's the guy,
So it's a
right?
matter of, you know, we're gonna
so
do
like
him
the
first.
Bourbon
and then-
Commander, our first guest, is the guy that goes out and picks these bottles for us, right?
Mhm.
So this is our
Did
one
he
of our
pick that
charity
one?
bottles. Yeah, he picked that.
Mhm.
He picked that. You know, so we don't put 10 caps doesn't go on a bottle that Corey Manning doesn't taste. Like,
I
period.
gotcha.
So
Yeah.
he's the guy. You know.
And he's got more coming down the line.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We got some stuff that absolutely looking forward
So
to.
we'll definitely showcase those, you know.
I know his episode is going to be very interesting.
Right. It's going to showcase a cigar that is very, very hard to find.
It's very sought after
It
right
is.
now.
It is, and it's not expensive.
Mm-mm.
You know, you find them at retail, they're like $14.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a cigar that only comes out once every 3 years.
Yep.
And, you know, we were able to just kind of scour the internet.
Like in the group,
and-
there's quite a few boxes now. Like,
That's right.
Y'all went crazy.
That's right.
Man.
But in the group, we've probably got 4 to 5 boxes.
Yes. Yes.
You know, so we're definitely set for a little
Yeah.
while.
Yeah, I agree. But man, listen, final thoughts, right? Like we're at like
Man, I just
33, 34 minutes, something like that. So what are your final thoughts? The two Old Elks. Anything that jumps out at you that differentiates the two?
you can tell that this one, the Infinity, is a little bit less on the wheat side.
Mhm.
I mean, this is 96% wheat, so like, you know, it's basically all wheat.
Right.
So this is, you can definitely tell that it's less in the wheat, but this is way more refined. I think somewhere around 20% of it has like 12 and 13 year, you know, bourbon in it,
Mm-hmm.
and you can really, really tell.
Right. Absolutely.
The proof on it is perfect. Like, it's absolutely perfect.
Right.
I couldn't imagine this any more or any less.
Right.
Like 114,
Absolutely.
like that's perfect. And then the cigar is, we're a little more, maybe about a third, a little more than a third of the way through.
And I think they actually
And
they pair pretty well.
They do pair very well. This is not a strong cigar, and so
No.
it's not overpowering that light wheat
Right.
kind of flavor that we're getting from both of these.
Absolutely, I agree.
And I'm gonna be honest with you, like, I'm not big on pairing cigars with bourbon or cigars with a drink. Like, I know that's a thing for some people that they want to kind of pair them. One of the what, I think it was episode 5 or something like that. The theme of the episode was something to the effect of, you know, an unexpected great cigar pairing. And I don't even remember what it was now. I'd have to go look at it again. But
Man, listen, I don't remember what I did yesterday, so don't ask me about something that was 2 months ago.
But I think it's enjoyable to have those unexpected great pairings.
Absolutely.
That you weren't even really trying for.
No.
And, you know, we've said it before. Like, guys, we're unscripted, we're uncut.
Yep. There was very little conversation about, like, the only conversation about this episode is what we're going to drink and what we're going to smoke. Outside of that, everything else that you get from us is just totally off the cuff. Like, there's no planning involved. I show up after work. We smoke at Jason's personal lounge. Again, shout out to Time to Burn. Right. Appreciate you for having me.
Yes. Yes.
And let me enjoy this this great space with you. And I enjoy it outside of the podcast. Believe me when I tell you, there are just some days when I don't have the entertainer in me. So coming to Time to Burn is a place where I can just come kick back. Jason and his wife are always great hosts to me and allow me to kind of just come here and decompress. So, it's one of those things that I really enjoy being here. So it's great to film here. And it, of course, it's great to sit with one of the people I call one of my brothers, in this bourbon and cigar community, and just hang out and kick it and do what we would normally do just on camera.
And just the two of us.
Yeah.
So.
Not that we don't love the rest of you. It's just.
So I was going to say, like, I'm actually excited for us to have some guests. It's going to be interesting to film it. And edit it.
Yeah.
It's the banter that we're probably going to have. So the episode with Corey is going to, the cigar that we're going to have, it burns extremely slow.
Yeah. So it will be a longer episode.
Chances are, it's just going to be one long episode.
Yeah.
We'll have several different bourbons, and hopefully we're going to be able to dive into some of his stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. We won't get there yet. We won't even tell you about that. But we're going to get some insider footage to drop. You know what I'm saying? So that we can just this is why Mr. Manning has to be the guy. You know what I'm saying?
Or the reason why he's called Bourbon Commander.
Yeah, for sure.
Big reason. But final cigar thoughts. I mean, about halfway through, and like I said, it starts out really mild, transitions pretty quickly into a medium cigar, and then just stops, and it just kind of stays medium. And I think it's something that you can really just kind of take your time with. It's not going to overpower the palate.
Nope.
It definitely lends itself well to being able to smoke, something else afterwards.
Absolutely.
You're still going to taste the next cigar. And it's interesting that you're talking about the great pairing. I'm finding that these lighter cigars really do. What it was? I think it was the Damaso. We said the Damaso.
Oh, and again, that's
really
one of my favorite.
With whatever it was we were drinking, and that's a lighter cigar. I mean, okay, so it's medium.
Damaso is a blast of flavor.
It's right, but it's not an overly strong cigar,
not at all.
Neither is this one.
Not at all.
So
we're talking Perdomo Damaso.
Yes, this is a great starter, like entry level. Kind of you're just getting into the cigar culture. This is a really, really great one to go to. It's inexpensive, $10, plus or minus depending on size, and just really great. What you got, man?
So again, really enjoy the cigar. It's one that I actually keep at the house, right? So I don't buy boxes of them, but when I go into my local brick and mortar, Ocoy Cigar Lounge, shout out to y'all too. I pick these up when they have them in stock.
Same here.
Because it's a great starter stick, or it's a stick that if I don't want to smoke too heavy in a night, I know I'm going to enjoy this. So the Damaso, a couple other things, right? I go to. So very flavorful, great price point, great smoke production, great construction, everything that you want from a cigar. Just overall a very good cigar for a very affordable price. And then the bourbons, man, listen, those two are great. Of course, you can't go out and find this one, but Infinity.
The
but
Infinity
you can get something very similar to this.
The Infinity is out there, and then Infinity. As far as regular stock, the double weeded
is very good.
It's for around here it's $100.
Yeah, but
it is amazing. And then the regular weeder I think is $70.
I think so.
Something like that.
Old Elk is not inexpensive.
This is true.
I don't think it's expensive, but it's not inexpensive, right? It's more than your average bourbon.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be completely honest, it should be. It is very good. Old Elk I've had,
it's very good,
right?
Yeah.
I think they're charging accordingly. So
yeah. And the regular bourbon, I think it's like 50.
Yeah. So I think they're charging accordingly. I do want to say shout out to everybody that was involved in, coming together to make this charity function that we're doing, getting in the chair for Luke, done. Like, shout out to all you guys. Thank you for your hard work. Thank you to everyone that donated. It means the world to us, right? Like, it's a big deal. Charity and giving back to the community is one of the things that me and Jason are very much involved in, and we want to make an impact. So thank you to everybody that donated and everybody that had a hand in helping us get this together. We appreciate all of you. But with that being said,
wrap it up.
Wrap it up.
Yeah, man.
Y'all know what it is, man. I am Duran. No cool nickname. You know what I'm saying? We'll maybe get there, but I think my name is awesome. So Duran, like the group Duran Duran, and my co-host.
I am Jason JV Smoke, and thank you for joining us. Please join us on the next one. And I guess we'll see you later.
We'll see you soon, folks.